Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. It's Wednesday again, so you will not only see my video, but I'm also doing Wing It Wednesday again. This is a challenge by Jenny from Jenny's Crafty Corner. She's got the hashtag Wing It Wednesday. I stumble over that every single time. She only does it in the first Wednesday a month actually, but I really like this challenge because her idea is to use something from your stash that you haven't used before, or in my case don't recall using because I'm old and forgetful, and yeah, to use it and do something with it. And I think it's a great idea, so I will try to do this every Wednesday if I can. And I just went through my stash. I have a few things, but they involve a bigger project. I didn't want to do that today. But I found these dies. I know I bought these in Germany, probably at Action. If you're in Germany, you know that store. I don't think I've used any of these before, but they are really cute. They're small dies. Got a little piglet there, a fox, probably another fox, a squirrel, and a hedgehog. And when I just got these in my hands, I thought I'd try to do or recreate a technique that I tried yesterday. Apologies, I will edit this video a little bit funnily, so you will find me cut off my sentence there, because the technique I thought I could show you only works with dies that actually have some embossed details, so they don't cut all the way through. And I didn't realize that these actually cut all the way through, so that didn't work what I originally wanted to do. But I'm sticking with it. I'm showing you something similar to what I have already seen on some channels and that I tried yesterday, and that is to use ink on my dies. So I'm actually going in with the Lavinia Elements Russet Orange, sorry about the glare there, and the truffle, and I'm just inking my dies up. So I'm going straight with my stencil brush straight onto here and adding some ink. And I thought I'll have a little bit, mainly orange, and that's why I'm doing the two foxes and the squirrel, because they can be very similar colors. It's obviously not a British or American squirrel, not a grey one. So it doesn't even have to be all over, and you can see I'm basically dabbing it on. So I'm hoping it stays wet enough, but because the dye doesn't absorb the ink, it should stay on there. So I think I'm okay. Yesterday I tried it with a new dye that had some embossed details, and that was a good look as well. So I think that's enough there. A bit of orange there, and then I just want to have a little bit of the brown. Just checking if I've got different stencil brush for that. No, I just use this one and give it a wash after. So maybe just the paws here, a little bit on the back. This might not even be as juicy. And just a little bit here. So I have already put my cardstock into my die cutting machine here, because when I place these down now, hope I can pick them up without putting my fingers onto them. Use my tweezers. Sorry, I'm going off camera here, so I'm trying to lift it up with my tweezers. So, and once I've put it onto my cardstock here, I mustn't shift it. That's important. Yep, butterfingers. So it's only a trial run. I sometimes enjoy experimenting, and hopefully this will work. So I quickly will cut this off camera, and then I'll show you what I've created. I thought I'd do the reveal on camera. So let's have a look. You can see some ink. Just need my pokey tool. So I can only find a needle, but that'll do for now. So, there we go. I've got some ink on the fox, not all the way through, but I think it's an interesting look. So if I had been a bit more careful with applying the ink, I think there would have been a bit more colour. As I said, it's just apply, it's an idea. This one's a bit better. So what I will do off camera is to go in with my stencil brush, or with my maybe with my ink blending brush, and just add a little bit more colour where I'm missing something. And also I think I will create something off camera. I'll have a little think what I want to do. It is actually in the next day. I abandoned the crafting yesterday to have some telly time with my husband, but I just finished the card now. So what I did off camera was I used the residue of the ink on to cover the white areas on the die cuts. I took a little scrap of black cardstock from my bin and popped little bits behind the eyes where the holes for the eyes were. And then I use this little rectangle die, I don't use that often enough, to create some frames, because I thought these needed something, the elements needed something on the card to sort of frame them and get them together. Then I remembered I have lots of sentiment dies like these here, so I don't think I've ever used the Hello Autumn. You don't really send cards for autumn, but yeah, I quite like the idea of creating one. So again, I used my stencil brush to ink the die up before I cut it. I cut it a second time in white as well to offset it a little bit. But on this one, I want to show you a little something where I've got, let me just find the die here on my desk in all the mess. I probably have already put it away in the cupboard. Never mind. But where the holes are, you know, you've got holes sometimes in the, well, quite often in the sentiment dies to basically poke through to release them. They haven't taken on the colour, so you've got little white dots on the sentiment there. But I don't mind that. If you do, just go back with your residue ink on the stencil brush and just ink them up. So yeah, and then I just chose an orange piece for the background, just from my stash. This is an old paper pad from the works. At first I thought I'd go in with something green as a contrast for the orange, but then I thought, no, I'll go tone on tone with this orange. But I want to show you one more thing before I go. The original idea that I have edited out, as in applying ink with my brayer onto the die. I did this off camera as well with a die that has got some more embossed areas. So these pieces will just emboss, and that sort of half worked. So the ones that are properly raised, they picked up the ink, which are the eyes, the nose, the cheeks and the ears, and the little specks in the middle. But the ones that are slightly lower still embossed, like the arms and the fur collar and, you know, the mouth there, that didn't pick up the ink with a brayer, because that's a level deeper. So the original idea that I had sort of half works. So if you've got a die that does some embossing but it's all on one level, I think this will work. As I said, I've done it before. Well, I might have edited that bit out, but I've did it before with another die. I will probably show you that technique when I actually use the die. But yeah, another little project for Wing It Wednesday, using something I haven't used before, and I thoroughly enjoy this challenge. Sorry. So thank you very much, Jenny, for this challenge, and I will pop in her link to her original video where she explains what Wing It Wednesday is about, and I'll see you again soon with another video.